On this episode of Let's Talk Cincy, investing in organizations, making an impact. The Greenlight Fund was founded in Boston in 2004 and expanded to communities across the country, including Cincinnati in 2015, supporting several programs that are shaping solutions in our community.
We really work at the intersection of community need and innovation. We work with the local ecosystem of nonprofit partners, church leaders, school leaders, neighbors to figure out what is the missing puzzle piece in our ecosystem of supportive services for youth and families.
From WLWT, this is the Emmy Award-winning show, Let's Talk Cincy, presented by Western and Southern Financial Group. Put our financial strength behind you. Here now is Let's Talk anchor, Curtis Fuller.
With me now, two people to talk about a great organization. It is called the Greenlight Fund, Cincinnati, and we're going to talk also specifically about a program starting up this year. It's called Fathers Uplift 2025. With me now, Aaron Saul, who is the Executive Director of Greenlight Fund, Cincinnati, and Dr. Charles Daniels, who is the CEO and founder of Fathers Uplift. First of all, welcome to the program.
Curtis.
Let's start by telling folks a little bit about the Greenlight Fund, because it does a lot of things, including this project.
Yes, so Greenlight Fund is a local nonprofit. We've been in Cincinnati for about 10 years, but nationally we've just hit our 20th anniversary. We were founded in Boston about 20 years ago. But in Cincinnati, we were founded here in 2015, and we really work at the intersection of community need and innovation. We work with the local ecosystem of nonprofit partners, church leaders, school leaders, neighbors to figure out what is the missing puzzle piece in our ecosystem of supportive services for youth and families. And then we scout the country to find the best, brightest, highest impact organizations that have an innovative model that we're missing in Cincinnati, and we provide startup capital for those organizations to replicate their model in Cincinnati. And we do that at a rate of one organization per year. We run a selection process that's really community driven. And when I say community, it's not just folks on the ground, neighbors, it's also really involving ecosystem partners like Cincinnati Children's Hospital, United Way, Best Point, Cradle Cincinnati, to make sure that the organizations we're bringing in enhance what already exists, doesn't create competition or duplicate services. So each year we start out with an issue, and this past selection cycle we were really focused on youth mental health, and we heard loud and clear from our community that there were two main issues that both the mental health organizations and the community were facing. One is that there was a shortage of clinicians, specifically Black and brown clinicians. In Ohio, only 5% of licensed psychiatrists and psychologists are Black folks, which doesn't match the need in Cincinnati. So not only that, but this broader clinician shortage post-COVID. And then the second piece is just the intense increase in acuity of mental health needs, both from children and their families. So wherever there is a child with a mental health need, it also has an impact on the family. So we kind of, in public health, look at downstream interventions and upstream interventions with this analogy that if you stand at the bank of the Ohio River and you see garbage coming down the river, you can stand there and pull the garbage out. But we got to go upstream to figure out why is there garbage in the river to begin with. And so that's what we're trying to do with our investment in bringing Fathers Uplift to Cincinnati, is saying, let's work upstream to try to prevent youth mental health crisis by investing in their parents, making sure that parents have the mental health care, the resources that they need to be the best, most nurturing and stable family, which is what children need. And secondly, to meet this shortage of clinicians. So we were really hoping when we went and we scouted the country to see, like, is anybody meeting one of these issue areas? And we were really fortunate to meet Fathers Uplift, who actually was meeting both issue areas. They had a workforce development component of their model, but also a really specific kind of niche service serving dads with mental health support that we didn't have in Cincinnati. So that's a little bit about Greenlight Fund and kind of how we got to this relationship with Fathers Uplift.
So talk a little bit about what you do to help men be better dads.
So my wife and I came together in 2011 to create Fathers Uplift, which is the country's first mental health and substance use treatment facility for fathers and their families, where we help fathers realize the potential they have within to be the best fathers that they can be. We have a saying at Fathers Uplift: no father holds their child for the first time and say, hey, I'm going to be absent. No, life happens, right? Emotional challenges, which are the primary things that we focus on at Fathers Uplift for our team of therapists and coaches whose main focus is to help that father reconnect to the worth that he may have lost due to child support issues, due to incarceration, due to trauma, anxiety, depression. Oftentimes, society doesn't see the tears that fathers cry when they're absent from their kids' lives, but our staff do. And we give them hope and make sure that they don't give up on being the fathers they've always dreamed of being. So through therapy, through counseling, through peer mentorship, we make sure that we surround them with a village of people that can love them back to life, right? We know that every parent wants to be their best selves. Nobody wants to be the worst of themselves. And our goal is to help continue to give them hope. But there's also a workforce development component. You know, my wife had her father. I didn't have my father. We know the value of fathers. We want fathers to stay connected to their kids' lives. But the workforce piece is another interesting component. So I'm a therapist by training, a clinical social worker. And when I graduated in 2021 with my master's in social work, I failed my licensing exam 3 times, the first license 3 times. Afterwards, I failed my clinical exam 2 times. That's over 5 times taking the exam. According to the Association of Social Work Boards, they found that black test takers have a 40% chance of passing their exam on the first try as opposed to their white colleagues' 80% chance, right? They graduate and they get stuck at the licensing exam. What we also found out is after the first time, if you failed it, you're less likely to take it again. But we know what happens to a social worker or a mental health counselor gets a license. Your income increase. You can go back to your communities and open up a practice and serve your community. Without that license, you can't do that. So we're bringing our clinic to Cincinnati to contribute to the great work that's already happening, but we're also bringing our fellowship to help those students that are getting ready to graduate, prepare for their licensing exam, get a $15,000 stipend, so I have to worry about finances, as well as mentorship and licensure prep, because we believe that preparing for that license exam starts before you graduate. But you also need a network of clinicians that passed it to give you hope, to address the shortage that Aaron spoke about. So that's what we're doing in Cincinnati, and we're so happy that Greenlight brought us.
We'll be back in a moment. What I'm also hearing from both of you is that there comes a point where it's okay to understand that parenting is tough. Yeah. I think sometimes we think the problems are because of economics or that plays into it, but it is just a tough job, period, no matter what status that you might be in. And reminding people that there is help out there. Talk about some of the results that you've seen as a result of your program, and then we'll...
Absolutely. So since our inception, we've served over 15,000 fathers and families. We know that the majority of the dads that come into our office have no access to their kids, but they want to be better fathers. When they leave us, over 95% are staying actively engaged in their kids' lives. We've also do a lot of work behind bars. You know, our reentry rate in 2023 was 4% in comparison to the state's national reentry rate. But when we look at what we did in 2024, none of the fathers that we worked with when they were incarcerated, when they left the community, when they left prison, re-entered incarceration. So our recidivism rate right now is 0. Right? So we've done some successes in terms of what we're doing with men who want to be dads. Your children are your motivation to be better. If we can keep you connected to that dream and hope to be the father you always dreamed of being, you are going to make the world a better place. And we genuinely believe that, and we instill that in the fathers that we work with.
Wow.
We were really impressed at Greenlight Fund when we did our site visit to Boston to meet the Fathers Uplift team and start our really intensive diligence process with them, where we kind of assess their metrics, their method, their success in replication. We were really impressed as well that the fellows who are master's social work students completing their 2nd year of in their master's program, they had a 70% of those fellows were passing their licensure exam compared to that, 40-something% that Dr. Charles mentioned earlier. And so when you talk about it, that's you know, the amplification of that data point is just huge for a market like Cincinnati, because now you have social work students, especially social work students of color, who are graduating with less debt because they receive that stipend, but also they will have more likely to have their license so that they can go on to practice. I mean, it was really innovative, I thought, this untapped labor market of social work students who were graduating but had no path to practice. So they had debt, they had schooling, but they couldn't practice, you know, clinical mental health work for their community. So we're really reaching into this untapped labor market of folks who just need a little bit more support to pass that licensure exam. And then we're talking about another 60 or 70, you know, new licensed social workers coming out of school who are now able to practice as a result of Fathers Uplift. If you roll the clock forward, you know, 5 or so years, that's huge for a market like Cincinnati.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You said that you grew up without a dad. So did I. My dad died when I was 6 months old. I didn't fully understand the impact of not having a father around until I got much older. And then I saw it because, you know, what do you model that after?
Yeah.
You know, how do you, my mom was a great mom and dad to me, but yeah, you can really see the impact. And then you start to see in the larger context what impact it's having on communities. So this will start up in August?
Yes, sir.
How can people find out more information and get involved, get connected to it?
Absolutely. So our office will be in Over the Rhine. We'll be opening in August. But in the meantime, as we prepare to open, we have a weekly drop-in group that's free of charge to the public. It's virtual on Zoom every Tuesday at 3:00 p.m. It's ran by our community of dads, so any father can come in and get the assistance that they need anytime they need it. We help them overcome barriers to stay in their kids' lives and connect them to local resources until we set up. We're also about collaborating. So if you feel that you know black and brown students, male in particular, that are social work students that need support in their licensure exam, reach out to us. We have coaching. We can get them connected to resources. We're also looking for gifts and opportunities for our fathers to go to events, football games. A lot of our dads never been to a football game or a baseball game. So anything that you can do to volunteer or connect us to resources, it'd be great for the fathers that we're serving.
That's excellent. That's excellent. And how can people get in touch with Greenlight?
Yeah, so you can visit greenlightfund.org to learn more about our method. We are actually getting ready to raise our next fund so we can bring in 4 more innovative nonprofits into the region over the next 5 years. It's really thanks to our private investors who give significantly, so we can provide these unrestricted replication grants to organizations like Fathers Uplift, so they have that startup capital that's often really missing in nonprofit grant giving. So we're kicking off that fundraise, and if folks are interested or want to make connections or want to support an organization like Fathers Uplift, you can reach us at greenlightfund.org.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's a great program, great project.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be back in a moment. What started as an idea to strengthen diversity and inclusion efforts to get more students interested in banking is now a statewide initiative. It's called the Summer Banking Institute. One person responsible is Union Savings and Guardian Bank exec Keith Borders.
When I began with the bank, it dawned upon me about the importance of partnerships with some of the HBCUs in Ohio. There's 2. We reached out to Central State University and talked with the president at the time about wanting to tap into emerging professionals and giving them an opportunity to be introduced to our bank. In collaboration with the president at that time, Cynthia Jackson, she coined the term the Summer Banking Institute. She literally said, this is what you're talking about. And so from that point on, we created this program that includes a week boot camp. Students are selected now, not only from Central State. The program exploded. It's across the state of Ohio. In fact, we partnered with the Ohio Bankers League to really expand the program to many banks across the state and multiple universities. University of Cincinnati, Cincinnati State, universities in central parts of Ohio and northeastern Ohio, northwestern Ohio. Now, the program typically consists of about 40 students at about a half a dozen universities. But when we started, it was small. And so we partnered with Central State. We brought students in. At that time, we were having probably 15, 20, 25 student interns. We take them through a week boot camp in which executives from our bank and then professors and community representatives would teach classes. We did it on the campus of Central State University. Now it's on the campus of Old Dominion University in Columbus. 9 years in which students will go through a week boot camp immersed in what is banking, what's the monetary system, what's commercial banking, how do I get a residential mortgage loan, what's the process, how do I get approved? And then they began a 10-week internship working in a bank. And so, Curtis, when I share that this is a national award-winning program, in 2019, the American Bankers Association selected Union and Guardian Savings Bank for its prestigious Community Commitment Award, recognizing this program. Here's what they told us. They told us that we loved how you are committing and bringing students of all types of diversity into the banking industry. You're introducing them into what really has been an industry struggling with trust, as we know. The students then get immersed not only to banking, but they get immersed in working in a corporate environment. They told us that they really admired the fact that when the students finished the internship and they interviewed them for this prestigious award to the bank, the students told them that, well, you know what? I learned how my parents back in Toledo or back in Cleveland or back in Columbus or back in Defiance or back in Cincinnati, how they could obtain a mortgage. They learned what the credit scoring process is. They learned about how do I even begin to calculate what I need for escrow? What is the down payment process? So the students began to, and this is well beyond what we expected, they began to personalize and expand their sphere of influence beyond only just banking, but to their families. Man, that was powerful for us. It caught on. We continued in 2018, 2019, and then we realized this program is so huge, we've got to get partners. Now, we know internships isn't anything new, right? But I really think that what clicked for a lot of people and for the students and for the parents of the students and for the employees in the banks participating, and for the universities was this collaboration, all for the purposes of really exposing students of all races to a culture and a industry that they may not otherwise get exposed to. And, Curtis, the students may not end up in banking. They may go to another profession. So be it. Now, we want to recruit hard and convince them to stay in banking. And in fact, many have. Next year, we celebrate 10 years. We will have had over 100 students come through our Summer Banking Institute internships.
Finally today, a new app helping folks explore the past. It's called Freedom Journey. The app guides users to key sites of the Underground Railroad. Here's more now from Ashley Kirkland.
The banks of the Ohio River hold historical significance that often goes untold.
Our riverfront is an incredibly important part of the Underground Railroad.
Freedom seekers and abolitionists shaped parts of their stories here in Cincinnati and northern Kentucky. Now, a new app is telling their truth.
The Ohio River plays an integral role in our nation's journey to freedom. Be guided along the southern Ohio River border in the discovery of remarkable stories of courage across the Underground Railroad. Tens of thousands of brave freedom seekers escaped enslavement, traveling northward towards self-determination, and were helped by abolitionists and conductors along the perilous journey.
It's so important for us to understand our history and how far we've come, but how we still have to advocate for freedom in a lot of ways. And I think this Freedom Journey app will help people relate to that.
The GPS allows users to travel through these stories for a few hours or a couple of days.
You can build your own experience, your own adventure, is what I like to say.
For Cincinnatians like Kyla Woods and her family, the pain of this legacy is personal.
I was born free. My daughter was born free. That's what connects us. So for our community to have that access to this right in their phones, to be able to learn things like that and find their own connection piece is so important.
Woods says this educational tool has allowed her to see American history in a new light.
You'll learn about things that you can find a connection to. So for me, that was in learning about the Ripley Anti-Slavery Society.
That society was founded November 25th, 1835. More than a century later, her daughter was born on the very same day.
For me, that was such a light bulb moment. It connected me in such a powerful way to understand that on that same date, people were fighting for freedom.
Wood says everyone can resonate with the story shared.
This is one way, a point of access for people to be able to learn very important history. Not history that's just important to the Black community or people of color, but to all of us.
She hopes people can join the journey and find freedom in the river roots.
So the Freedom Journey app is something we're really proud to present as a part of America's River Roots Festival, which will be happening here along our riverfront October 8th through the 12th. So as part of that festival, we are happy to launch the Freedom Journey app as an initiative to help people understand the importance of our river history, the importance of abolitionist movements that took place right here in southwestern Ohio and northern Kentucky.
Well, that does it for the program today. Thanks for watching. I'm Curtis Fuller. I'll see you next time for another edition of Let's Talk Cincy. Until then, have a good day and a better day tomorrow.